Hey, it's your girl MJ, and welcome to the Booty Call to Pride channel. I am your girl Michelle Tillman, and first of all, let me say excuse me for my braids and my hat. I know I'm looking like what's going on, but this is my pre-vacation hair and my vacation hat. I'm preparing for vacation, so I'm giving y'all this video from my balcony at the house. So let's get into it. We are talking about Married at First Sight, season number 12, episode 15. I think it is 15 or 16. So the latest episode as of this video. And what I want to say is, y'all, I still miss Chris and Paige. And so the reason why I'm doing these videos, because I used to work on reality TV shows, and I say used to, I still do, that come to the Charlotte area. I've worked on tons of those shows, and I have never been like really all about the drama stuff, but I miss Chris and Paige. They were not present in this episode, but just wanted to say that. Okay, let's get started. First, we're gonna do with Ryan and Claire. This is gonna be quick. One of the things that he reflected on is that he said he realizes he has more responsibility. Like Clara is literally his responsibility, and that's one of the things that he realizes from being married and over the last 6 weeks. She even said, I realized that I'm now in bed at 10:30. And they did a little clip where she's like, I ain't been in bed at 10:30 in like 10 years. So Clara is realizing she's shifting. She's becoming Ryan, essentially, to me. And so his friend, when they were doing phone calls with like their friends or family, they say, how's the marriage going? What you gonna do on decision day? And Ryan's friend said, do you think her goals and your life goals and aspirations are aligned? And he was like, that's a good question. AKA no, because they kept asking her, what's your ambition? Do you have strong ambition? They were taking the Enneagram test. Do you see yourself working harder than others, or do you have high things you want to achieve? And she basically like, no. Like, I have never heard anybody be so nonchalant about having no goals. I'm just like, girl, why you don't got no goals? Why you don't have no ambition? I don't know where that comes from, why she don't have nothing she wants to achieve and see bigger. I don't understand. Maybe, I don't know. So, but before they even got to the Enneagram test, the personality test, she was like, Ryan was like, I want us to see how we match and how things align. And she was like, well, I already know the star signs. And he was like, sis, we ain't talking about no star signs. We talk about personality, like detailed questions that are specifically you answering, not no stars. So I get it, because star stuff is just a guess. It's a guess. So anywho, they go to this bowling thing where you like go bowling and you throw a football, which I have never seen this. But I wanted to point out that one, Ryan's pants were so tight, y'all. They were so tight. They were so tight. On top of, we always laughing at Jake for having on dress shoes at a baseball cage, but Ryan had on dress shoes too. He had on tight pants, super tight pants. I'm talking skinty jeans and dress shoes at an athletic place. So let's just go ahead and leave Jake alone for his dress shoes, because I know I was personally laughing. But yes, Ryan did the same daggone thing. And so then another thing that happened was Clara's family was asking her, what is your marriage like? And she keeps saying 10 out of 10, ain't nothing that can change. And I'm like, girl, you go and you vent to your friends and you talk about, even to the Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper and Dr. Viviana, about how things need to change in a romance department. But then when it's your friends and family, it's like, what kind of front are you trying to put on? They gonna watch the show, girl. They gonna watch the show. Why are you still lying, acting like everything is all good? Like, I'm so confused with that. If you don't tell somebody what the issues are, then How can things get better? And I know there's a difference between keeping people out of your marriage and not letting them know all the details, but sis is straight up lying, and that's just so weird to me. So Haley and Jake, they asked Haley, I think one of her friends, were like, were there any red flags with him from the beginning? She was like, yes. The fact that he was 38 and single, and the fact that he been trying to find a woman for the last 10 years in Atlanta, ain't did nothing else since he been here. And I was like, ooh, she made that sound bad. She made it sound bad that he been working on getting a wife for 10 years, hasn't accomplished anything else but just keeping his job, I guess. But let's not negate just keeping a good job for 10 years is not a bad thing. But the way she said it, she was just like, he ain't did nothing in the last 10 years. And that was just a huge turnoff for her because she keeps bringing that up. Then she also said she learned that dating isn't fun, it's exhausting. Jake said he's learned patience under pressure. And then at the end of their little montage, they was talking about Haley was acting like she was all nervous. I don't know, because, you know, dating is exhausting. Maybe I should try to work it out. Girl, you know good and well you are not about to work it out with Jake. So who are you fooling? Stop the madness. I didn't even write nothing else about them because I didn't have nothing else to say. Okay, so Vince and Brianna. Vianna, that would be their name if they was like couples put together, Vianna. But anyway, Brianna and Vincent. So she said to this homeboy, she said, well, you know, I initially was like concerned because you were so unorganized. And then he was like, So I was like, okay, first of all, Brianna, nobody is gonna just not take offense to the fact that you said they unorganized. That is not a characteristic that anybody is like, yeah, I'm unorganized. Like, nobody admits that. The way she was like, I'm bossy or I'm direct, that's not something someone claims as something good and as a characteristic that they just have. So I don't know why she was surprised and shocked, or either why her mom was surprised or shocked that he was offended by her saying he was unorganized. Now, I do think he acts like a big baby sometimes, but I would be offended if somebody said I was unorganized. I don't know if it's because I'm an administrator for a living and I try to be organized, or period, but that was offensive. And my thing with her is she just pops off and puts it under the lens where I'm not gonna change for nobody. Sis, your husband is gonna change throughout the years of you being married. Your husband's gonna change, you're gonna change. If you're the type of person who says, I ain't changing not for nobody, then you're not the type of person who should be married. Marriage requires you to be flexible. Marriage requires you to do work you don't want to do. So I just don't know where that whole thought process comes from. I get it when people say they don't want to change, I guess, their nature, but you got to be considerate, empathetic to how other people feel about what you say. That's just life. You can't just go into a job interview and say, give me this job right now. No, you might say that in a roundabout way. You're gonna say, hey, I'm on time, I have the experience, and yada yada yada, but you're gonna say it in a way that makes it to your advantage so that person can see you in a good light. You would do the same thing with your husband. So I don't understand why she thinks that that's just not something that she should be willing to change. So then Vince goes and calls his guy and says how she was offended when he said back, well, I was turned off when they said at your wedding you was bossy, because in the past I ain't got along with bossy people. Sir, I don't get along with bossy people either. I need somebody who's like listening and willing to hear what I have to say and not thinking they're always right. So I don't see why she's offended that he didn't like the word bossy, which is not necessarily a good characteristic either. Now, direct is different from bossy, but I still don't think she should be any more or less offended than he was from her saying that he was unorganized. And there's that. And they both need to work on both of those things, the bossy and the unorganized parts. They both need to work on both of those things. Now she's saying, well, I'm nervous because he done said those were turnoffs, and I don't want my husband to ever be turned off on anything that I'm doing. Okay, well, if you don't want that, then let's go ahead and be flexible. That's my 2 cents. So, and at the end of their little episode, their little part of the episode, he was like, nice knowing you. And then she was like, what you mean nice knowing? What he mean nice knowing me? So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Okay, last one is Virginia and Eric. So Eric starts out the episode talking about how he knows why they were mad. She loves her so much. And I was getting my locks retwisted before I go, retightened before I go on my vacation. And she was like, oh, he's so sweet. And I was like, no, girl, let him keep talking. You ain't heard nothing yet. She was like, oh. So she's listening. We both watching this together. And she was like, oh. So this is my problem with Eric. You go from saying all the right things, and then they showed a montage. Y'all almost fell out the salon chair. She said they had all these montages of him saying, because if you don't do this, then it's over. Well, you can make up your mind, but then I'm done. Well, you can stay where you want to stay, but I'm gonna stay over here, okay? And like, they put a montage of all that together. So I don't think he realized how many times he said that through the whole season. And if I was her, like she said a few episodes ago, if you say you done one more time, I'm gonna smack you in your face. I was like, Virginia, girl. But anyways, they were also talking about, should your spouse be your best friend? And he said, I'm not her best friend yet. I'm still convinced that Virginia's best friend like her. Her best friends like her. She's in denial. If they had the opportunity to really be with her, I believe one of them best friends would definitely be her, especially the one that they had met earlier in the season. And Virginia was like, well, her part about being single that she enjoyed was like the personal space. It's not necessarily she don't want to be married. It's just like she likes her personal space. She finally was like, okay, well, I've accepted that I'm gonna have to live with him for a little while in his condo. I get that. And so I'm like, okay, I'm glad she got that. And he was like, but it's gonna take some time. I'm gonna get some renters. And so of course he don't want to sell his asset. That's cool. If it was me, I would just go over there and be like, okay, so here's the middle ground. Let me change everything about the decoration so that I can feel like this is my place. I can put something into it. Like, I don't understand why make it more difficult. Like, when someone owns property, it's just, why not just go and decorate it and make it your own? But that's just my 2 cents. Then she said her biggest problem with him is that he doesn't want her to go out with her friends and do stuff. He doesn't want to go with her to go out with her friends to do stuff, but then he also don't want to let her go by herself. I just want to know exactly how those situations play out, because I feel like she exaggerates it a tad bit, and then he's also overprotective. So I can't really read what the situations are actually like that are actually happening whenever those arguments stem from. So he keeps saying, for me, it's a yes. He has told us it was a yes plenty of times. I'm pretty sure that they're gonna make it through decision day. I think all of them except Haley and Jake are gonna make it through decision day, because none of them have reasons, but I don't think any of them are willing to just call it quits, other than Haley and Jake. They should definitely call it quits. So anywho, the last thing I wanted to say is she was like, Virginia says she don't like the word expect. She wants to hear the word want. And she thinks that the word expect is like a duty, or maybe it sounds like a parent, and she wants him to say, well, I would like for you, or I would want for you, instead of, well, I expect you to be home, instead of, I would want for you to be home with me. And I think that's a good thing that she's picked up on. It's not about always what you say, it's how you say it. So again, I think everyone's gonna work it out besides Shailene Hake. Sorry for the delay in this video. Oh, my daughter's coming to the window telling me, Ma, what you doing? Hey girl, I'll see y'all later. Have a good week. Bye.